Welcome to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, you're listening to the Intuitive Therapist podcast. I'm Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist, and I'm here to talk to you about forgiveness. This concept of forgiveness is pretty tough for most people to grasp, and I get that. And if you're inclined to press the stop button on this episode because you think you've heard what I'm about to say, please don't. You're going to hear things about forgiveness that you have never heard before, and you're going to learn how forgiveness impacts your life in more ways than you can imagine. You're going to learn how to let go of the pain that you carry, because to be honest, it's a matter of life or death for you. Because I want you to enjoy your life and live it to the fullest, and unforgiveness prevents that. So if you harbor anger and resentment towards someone for something that they've done to you in the past, if you just can't seem to find the magic pill to release the pain, then honey, you have hit the jackpot today by listening to this podcast. So take a moment and get comfortable and clean out your ears really well of all of those cobwebs that are in there, because I've got some straight shit to tell you about you, your pain and anger, and your forgiveness. There's a Buddhist proverb that says, let go or be dragged. Think about that for a moment. What does that mean to you in relation to forgiveness? To me, the saying means that if you don't let go of what doesn't serve you and what isn't meant for you, you'll be controlled and pulled by it instead of living a life that flows freely and one that's joyful. Many years of my life in my early 30s were riddled with anger and bitterness, and for many reasons I felt challenged by life, especially when it came to authority figures. I grew up in a Jewish household with parents who greatly valued observing the rituals and traditions of our faith. My siblings and I were groomed to honor the value, and we did. We really did. We embraced it. There were a lot of joy in celebrating our Jewish faith. We celebrated our Sabbath every Friday night and went to synagogue every Saturday morning. We celebrated all of the Jewish holidays and had family and friends at each gathering. Each milestone of a bar and bat mitzvah or a wedding or some wonderful big holiday, it was beautiful. It was wonderful. We had everybody we loved around us. My parents' love of Judaism and its meaning in their lives became an integral part of our nuclear family. In addition, my parents valued being close. Because of how each of my parents grew up, they became anti-models of their parents in many ways and did whatever they could do to be the opposite of how they were raised so they could give us what they didn't have. That said, my parents dictated most everything in my life, and I was plagued with the lack of skills of independence, self-confidence, and the ability to make my own decisions. I simply wasn't taught how to develop those muscles, and that impacted me throughout my life until a certain point. My parents dictated that we were not to date anybody outside of our faith. In fact, it would have been a complete sin if we did, totally unacceptable if any of us kids dated someone outside of the Jewish faith. I never liked being told what to do. I still don't. And oftentimes when I would do chores around the house as a child, I didn't like being told what to do and how to do it. I was challenged more than my siblings because I didn't remember more than 2 details at one time because of my ADD, so I would often fail to complete a task thoroughly and completely, especially in a way that was up to par with what my parents asked of me. Back then, 40 plus years ago, ADD wasn't a thing. It wasn't a popular, well-known thing. So my parents didn't really get the fact that I was different and couldn't remember more than two details at a time. That my attention span was incredibly short and I had problems with comprehension and attention to detail. What they experienced was my impulsivity, my incompleteness, and I had no filter on my mouth and shit would fly out of it that was out of my control at the time. Each weekend throughout college and young adulthood, it was a given that nothing came before Sabbath observances. We couldn't be involved in high school sports or attend events on Friday night or Saturday morning because we were observing our religion. That made it very difficult for me to assimilate in school with my non-Jewish friends and feel like I was a part of elementary school, high school, and even college. But one of the wonderful things that came out of that is that my parents really connected us with the Jewish community, and that was a beautiful place for us to be. I did join the Major Jewish Kids organization, and I met a lot of great friends and a lot of great people, some of whom I still have contact with today. But for me, back then, the restrictions did nothing for me except invite my defiance. I want to be clear that I did not grow up in a horrible home. In fact, it was really wonderful. My parents are my best friends now, and I never wanted for anything. I got lots of love and caring. My parents made sure that me and my siblings maintained close relationships, and I have a renewed love for my religion and its history. I had to get there on my own, though, and I know that my parents did the best that they could to raise us in the best way they knew how. But the reality was that my childhood wasn't perfect, and nor was it bad. My parents were flawed as parents, just like any other parents are. And in my 30s, really in my late 20s and my early 30s, my defiance grew out of the immature perception that I had that I was held hostage to their desires. And that immature, defiant outlook got the best of me, and over time I began to take my life into a different direction. I began to secretly date men outside of my faith because I wanted to make my own choices. I began to develop an alter ego. One side of me participated in my family's traditions and in my family life, and the other side of me, the liar, began to learn how to tell really believable lies in order to create a sense of freedom from my parents' dictatorship when it came to who I dated. I lied about who I was with, what I was doing, and where I was. It became easy. But it was a real hardship for me to live life in this bipolar way, as the liar and as the good daughter. I felt angry at my parents for so many years for all of the reasons I just mentioned. And it wasn't until I found myself in my 30s that I was able to actually honor them and thank them for their positive intentions and change my perceptions of who I believed they were. Looking back now, I know that all they wanted for us was to have the family that they didn't. They wanted our family to be close, to be loving, and always be there for each other. They wanted the traditions of our people, the Jewish people, to live on in our family as it did in theirs when they grew up. They wanted to protect us from harm in any way possible, so they sheltered us a lot. They did what they believed was right, and for that, I could no longer be mad at them. I tilled the soil of my defiance until I was done. That took me about 8 years. And once I began to grow as a person and mature emotionally, I began to take charge of my life instead of react to it. My anger left, and my life began to be peaceful and amazing. When I was in pain in my late 20s and into my mid-30s, I became imprisoned by my feelings of anger and resentment towards my parents for the restrictions that I didn't agree with. And that decision alone, the decision to be angry at them, hold them accountable for what I couldn't do in my life, and to be angry at them for how I was choosing to live my life at this time as a young adult, coupled with the belief that I had that I didn't have an option to do anything differently from what I was told that I could do, it made my life miserable, to be honest. I held on to the pain because I didn't know that there was any other way to live, and in all honesty, I didn't have the insight and the emotional maturity to see what was happening. I wore my pain and anger like a shield, and I considered it my lifeline, like an oxygen mask that I didn't know how to live without. I used it to protect me from further pain, or so I thought. Every moment that I leaned into the bitterness, I lost the opportunity to feel something good. I fanned the flames of my pain, and I let the toxic smoke consume me. I was living in my past. I was holding on to the fear that any child has of disappointing their parents, and holding on to the fear of God that was put inside my awareness that I best never defy my parents' rules. And I was suffering every moment because of it. If you're clinging on to past pain, whether it's from a childhood trauma, a betrayal in a relationship, You're angry about the way your parents raised you. Maybe one of your parents abandoned you and you haven't found peace around that. Or you still hold on to pain from some other area of your life or some other relationship in your life. I encourage you to keep listening till the end. If you don't, your conscious choice won't only be to feel pain and anger. It'll also be to voluntarily give up the happiness and joy that you could feel if you learned how to let the pain and anger go and to forgive. Ask yourself, what is holding on to the pain costing me in my relationships, with my health, or in my job? What positive experiences are passing me by because I choose to live in the past instead of the present? Who have I become because I am keeping my pain in front and center of my life? Why do I hold on to the pain from what that person did to me? What does it mean about me that I'm still pissed about what they did to me? And what does it mean about me that I haven't let it go and used it to better my life? How is holding on to my pain allowing me to grow, to mature, and share myself with the world? How is holding on to the pain of my past allowing me to love deeper, to give more, to take risks in my life, to trust other people, to invest in myself and my future, to explore the world, to help other people become the best versions of themselves? How is holding on to my pain helping me in any of those ways? I'm asking you to really think about these questions. You just might pause this recording, rewind it, go back to these questions, and write down the answers and just really think about them. I really urge you to do that because I want you to look inside yourself. Take a look at the impact that your pain has had and still has on your life if you haven't let it go. And I bet that you have absolutely no freaking clue how it's held you back in your life. You may think that it's protected you and served you and that you've been able to go on with your life and do everything that you thought you could do, but you haven't. Because at some point you have to know that if you're living in your past, there's no way you can be present. But if the issue is over and you're still carrying around hurt, trauma, anger, resentment, victimization, then you are the one whose life is still affected, not anybody else. When you anchor yourself to your past, you become stuck there. And when you hold on to your history, you do it at the expense of your destiny. Recently, I listened to a talk by Pastor T.D. Jakes about forgiveness. I love listening to his wisdom. He talks about how focusing on our past prevents us from being in the present and being open to the gifts that God has for us. He also talked about how important forgiveness is when it comes to living a quality life. He remarked that if we want Spirit to show us mercy and lead us to our destiny, then we must practice mercy with ourselves and others first, so that we may receive the mercy and guidance that awaits us. For so many, the idea of forgiving or giving forgiveness is riddled with internal conflict, and for most it means that you must give a hall pass to those people who have inflicted pain on you. And I am telling you here and now today, you couldn't be farther from the truth if you believe that. Letting pain go and forgiving is not about letting the perpetrator get away with what they did to you. Absolutely not. It's about you giving yourself the gift of peace of mind by releasing the pain you carry and opening up opportunities for you to have an amazing life. Unforgiveness is toxic and terrible, and it affects every aspect of your life. It will eat you alive from the inside out. It's as if every time you relive the pain, you are punching yourself in the face and gut over and over and over again, and you are the one that suffers. Nothing good comes out of unforgiveness. The shield you believe you're putting up doesn't do anything to deter further pain. What it does is actually set you up and calls in more pain because that's what you're focused on. It holds you hostage in your emotional prison and prevents you from creating a life that is essentially pain-free. When my clients come in with pain that they've carried for a long period of time, I can literally see it. They wear it. And the wear and tear on them from carrying the burden of the pain is visual to the eye. I do some exercises with them to release the pain, and here's one that I'm going to share with you. I'd like you to follow along. But if you're walking, if you're driving a car, operating whatever machinery, mowing the lawn, do me a favor, pause this, find another time to listen to it, because I'm about to go into a meditation and visualization with you. But if you're not operating heavy machinery, go ahead and find a comfortable place to sit and take some breaths and continue listening with your palms facing up on your thighs. As you take a deep breath in through your nose, push your belly out and fill up your lungs, and slowly exhale. Take another deep breath from your belly and breathe in and hold it, and slowly exhale. Breathe in a third time, deep, 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 hold it, and slowly exhale. And as you continue to breathe from your belly, follow my voice. Notice a red X underneath your coccyx, and connected to that red X is a cable. Connected to that cable is a hook. As you breathe in deeply and exhale, see yourself dropping the cable down through the floor, all the way down through the universe, the earth, down, down, down to the center of the universe, where you see a horseshoe-shaped piece of metal sticking out. See the hook clip onto this horseshoe-shaped piece of metal and lock in place. Connect yourself with the cable and feel it become completely taut, tugging you to the chair. Next, connect with the X that is underneath your feet. Connect with the cable and the hook that is connected to that X. And as you continue to breathe, see yourself dropping that cable down through the floor, down through the dirt, down to the center of the universe again, where you see another horseshoe-shaped piece of metal directly under you. And hook the hook on there. Connect with the cable, feel it become completely taut, and tug your feet to the floor. Now, connect with the light above and the top of your head. You might feel the top of your head tingle a bit, and that's the crown chakra opening up. It's normal. Just feel it. Imagine the golden white light from above streaming down into the top of your head, soothing and comforting every part of your body all the way down to your feet and going out the bottom of your feet into the universe. Connect with the white light beneath your feet. As you breathe in, pull the white light all the way up from your feet, all the way up through your body, and exhale it out of the top of your head, and see a golden white bubble of light surrounding you, like a halo or an eggshell surrounding you. Move your focus to your hands and see a box of any shape or size in it. It can be any color you like. It can be decorated in any way you like, with pictures, with gems, with colors, or it can be plain. Notice that it has a top, and notice that it has a lock. In your mind, see yourself opening up this box and allowing yourself to see that it's empty. Now take a moment to put all of your worries in this box. Whatever worries there are, just dump them all in. Fear of what this exercise is going to be like, all the thoughts you have about your calendar, your to-do list, fears of the future, fear of forgiveness, anger, confusion, misunderstandings, wants, desires, dreams, even physical pain. You can put your whole body in this box for safekeeping. And just take a moment to do that. Whatever thoughts you have, whatever feelings you have that are bothersome and worrisome, if you're worried about somebody else, just put all of that in the box. Now, as you come to the last thought, close your box and lock it. And in your mind, see yourself putting it underneath the chair that you're sitting in, and allow the center of the universe to absorb it, keeping it safe. as you're breathing nice and deep and even, I'd like you to connect with a time in your life that is either the root cause of your pain or connect with an incident in your life that has caused you pain. I just want you to connect with the imagery of it, not the deepest part of it. See the other people who are a part of that time in your life. Just see them for now. Keep breathing nice and deep and even and listening to my voice guide you. And if necessary, you can always visit a place that brings you peace. Maybe it's the ocean, the beach, a garden, a pathway of any kind. Whatever it is, you can always go there if you find discomfort. But just keep breathing nice and deep and even. And connect with the painful feelings that you've had that are connected with that time. And just name what they are. I'm not asking that you feel them. I'm asking that you name them. Anger, fury, rage, offended, scared, anxious. Whatever those feelings are, just name them. And now bring your attention to your back. Notice the backpack on your back. You can choose the color or colors of this backpack because it belongs to you. Notice how heavy it feels on your back. In fact, it is so heavy that you can't walk very far and you need constant breaks from it. You might need to sit down a lot as you walk on your path, or you may need to self-medicate to try to numb the pain because you're trying to walk straight up, but you really can't. And clarity and certainty is difficult to find with this heavy backpack on your back. Notice all of the thoughts and feelings you have every moment of every day about this painful part of your life. The recurring thoughts, the ones that remind you that you need to stay angry to be protected, that the person who hurt you is horrible and doesn't deserve forgiveness, that you will never forgive them for what they did to you, and you will never let anyone be able to hurt you like that again. Just notice all of these thoughts and feelings as they arise within you because they are very normal. Now, each time that you have a thought or feeling, put that in the backpack. Think back about how long you've been angry and how many thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts and feelings you've had over time. Fill up your backpack with all of those thoughts and feelings and notice how dense and heavy the backpack becomes. Take your time and see yourself filling up that backpack with every emotion, every thought, every vision, every memory and tear and moments of fury that you've ever had. Now, notice a big metal barrel near you. Notice that it has fire inside of it and it burns brightly. It is preparing itself to help you. Now bring your attention to the person or people that have hurt you. Notice that they are sitting in a wheelchair. The wheelchair can be the color or colors that you associate with them. Notice how the back of the wheelchair and the seat of the wheelchair and the arm pads of the wheelchair change to the color of your choice that represents them. This person or these people, they are all in wheelchairs. They can't use their legs or arms. They can't process or think as clearly as you do. Even though they can use their brains, they are emotionally delayed. And they don't have the level of insight about their actions as you do. They can't walk like you do, can't run the way you do, can't skip, hop, or jump like you do. They are not on the same path as you are. No one is. We are all on our separate paths at our own pace in our own time. See them as being stunted emotionally, intellectually, and physically. They are the ones who are held back by their inability to love you well and treat you right. Now thank them for this moment. The moment that you get to take your life back. The moment where you tell them that you're going to use your pain to become something way better than who they could ever be. Thank them for giving you the opportunity to change your life in new and magical ways because of how they mistreated you. Thank them. Now bring your attention back to your backpack, the one that is weighing you down, preventing you from walking tall, feeling light and free, and causing you not only emotional pain, but physical discomfort and disease. All the ailments that you have experienced because you have carried around this pain. And bring your attention to the large metal container that I told you about before, the one that has a fire burning inside of it. I want you to see yourself removing the backpack from your back, sliding one arm out of it at a time, and putting it on your lap, zipper up. Now place the backpack on the ground or in the space next to you, and see yourself standing up tall, stretching your body in all ways, in all of the ways that you couldn't do when you wore the backpack on your back. Feel the lightness that you feel. Notice how easy it is to move about, how easy it is to walk, to run, to skip, to jump, to think clearer, to feel lighter all the way around. Now reconnect with the backpack, the one that carries all of your pain and anger, sorrow, defeat, disconnect, protectiveness, defensiveness, disdain for others, mistrust of others, suspicion of others, all of that shit that you have carried throughout your life since the time of your trauma or painful experience. Pick up that backpack and open the zipper and dump the contents of your old thoughts and feelings that are in the backpack into the burning fire. Make sure that you empty it completely. If you need more time, take it. Just pause this recording to do so. Notice that the toughest thoughts, beliefs, and feelings are both at the top and the bottom of the backpack. They're the ones that you need to get rid of the most. Now, check inside the backpack to make sure that it's entirely empty. And watch as the fire grows and smokes as you empty each and every negative thought, belief, and feeling into it. All the toxicity is in that canister. See all of the smoke rise up to the heavens to be transmuted into love and to be taken care of in the heavens. Now throw the backpack into the fire and hear the crackle of it burning. Smell the fabric burning and see it disintegrating before your eyes, going all the way up to heaven. The fire is completely out and there are no remnants of the fire or of your backpack, of your pain in the container. In fact, the container is completely clean and new. Now bring your attention back to the people in the wheelchairs. Maybe it's one person, maybe it's more. Put whoever you need to in these wheelchairs. Whoever is there, just look at them and see that you are standing tall, that they are stuck in a wheelchair and they can't move. In your mind, look in their eyes and tell them, you no longer have power over me. You no longer get to steal my joy, my love, my liberty, my freedom, my body, my emotions, my choices, or any part of my life. You are not like me, and I do not need to carry your shit on my back anymore. You made some horrible mistakes of which you have yet to take ownership of, and I refuse to carry the pain of what you did to me any longer. You don't win anymore. My life is mine. It belongs to me. And I choose to be free from pain, free from your ghost, free to move forward with dignity, grace, compassion, and love. I choose me over you, and I forgive you for your shortcomings and your limitations. Your journey is between you and God. I cut the tether that has bound us together for as long as it has. I release you, and I forgive myself for holding on to the pain as long as I have. I've used it as a shield of protection, and I realize that I've only been hurting myself all of this time. I belong to me. I am in charge of what I feel, what I do, and who I become, and what you did to me will no longer be in control. Now notice someone coming forth wearing a white robe, or several people wearing white robes, to come get all of the people that you're talking to. They come to get these people in wheelchairs, and they turn them around, and they wheel them out of sight. You turn around and take a deep breath in and slowly exhale, inhaling peace and tranquility and exhaling all of the negativity. You're free. You're free. You are free. Spiritual maturity asks us to welcome with kindness and respect every experience that arises before us on our path, and to greet with reverence the teachers who travel there as well, especially those with bad behaviors, for they have postponed their own awakening to teach us to respond in love. These people had to be in your life. Your soul called them in to teach you about something very precious about yourself, and only you know what that is, my friend. Perhaps it happened to get you to change the course of your life in a way that wouldn't have happened had that experience never occurred. Maybe it happened because you needed to learn about forgiveness for yourself so that you could have compassion and forgiveness for others in the future. Maybe it happened so that you could help someone else through a tough time because you have a frame of reference now that can help you guide them. But only you know the purpose of your pain if you take a moment to learn. Now it's time for you to use it to better your life and to free you from servitude of it. We are all made in the image of Spirit, of God. I believe that Spirit wants us to be happy and feel love for ourselves and others and show mercy for those who bring pain to us. We are not meant to hurt and suffer and be angry. That is not what life is about. Do you not get it? We are meant to learn from everything in our lives and to use those experiences, especially the painful ones, to propel us to be the greatest versions of ourselves. Maybe you were raised in an environment where unforgiveness didn't exist. You essentially learned how to hold on to your anger and bitterness. Here's a secret, y'all. If you can learn something, you can unlearn it by living differently and choosing differently. While we may feel unprepared to handle pain in our lives, that doesn't mean that we can't formulate a plan for the future. The plan is that you learn to relate differently to your past and change your limiting beliefs to empowered ones. When you have a new mind and new beliefs, my friend, about who you are because of and in spite of your past, you become a new and different person. You take your power back, and you can consciously choose to live differently and break past patterns of behavior. Unforgiveness does not prevent you from future hurts. It robs you of future possibilities. It limits you, dwarfs you, and holds you back because you're living in the past and missing out on the present. No one will ever be able to experience the fullness of you if you're immersed in your pain. You are holding yourself back over what happened in your past, and you are preventing yourself from showing up fully to yourself and to others. You aren't functioning at full capacity because you've not let go of who you were. And if you can't let go of who you were, you sure as shit can't embrace who you are now and who you could be in the future. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. The only impact that unforgiveness has is on your life. Everybody else moves on. You may believe that what has happened to you can't be forgiven. Remember, I'm not asking you to release the perpetrator from their responsibility. Hell no. I'm asking you to release yourself from the burden of carrying the pain that has haunted you for this long. Give yourself the best gift you can. Unload your hold on your painful past. And open yourself up to what Spirit has in store for you in your future. Embrace new and good people and opportunities into your life. Release this block that holds you back from an amazing, loving, and bright future. Give others the opportunity to experience you in all of your fullness and glory. Open yourself up to learning from everything, not just reacting to it. When you do this, when you forgive yourself, when you release the pain of your past life, of your past, your life is going to be bigger and brighter than you could ever imagine. I hope I've shed some light on you about what forgiveness really is. I hope that you heard what I said about letting it go and how important it is, because if you don't, you let it have power over you. It will rob you from joy, passion, happiness, fulfillment. If you're struggling with this, if you'd like some help, please reach out to me at janisarcohen.com or call me 404-558-3971. If you'd like a reading around any issue, relationship, struggle, love, money, health, anything, reach out to me at janisarcohen.com or call 404-558-3971. If what you hear on this podcast, the Intuitive Therapist podcast, resonates with you, please go to iTunes and subscribe and rate and review my podcast. The more people I can reach, the more people I can help heal. I wish you a wonderful day, a blessed week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend and subscribe, rate, and review at iTunes.